the third.
Okay, it's time.
Yep.
Good evening, everyone. We'll convene our open session procedural business of our special board meeting Tuesday, July 28th, 2020. The time is 5:31 p.m. Could we have the roll call, please?
Trustee La French.
French present.
Trustee Eckes.
Present.
Trustee Turner.
Trustee Turner present.
Trustee Benz.
Benz present.
Trustee Hines.
Hines present. A quorum is established. Thank you. We will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag
of
of the United States of America
and to the
and to the republic
stands
for which it
one
stands,
nation,
one nation,
God,
under God, indivisible, with liberty
justice for all.
and justice for all.
is adoption of the agenda. Do we have any proposed additions, deletions, and adjustments in order of business?
Madam President, we do not.
Thank you. So I'll need a motion, 2.02 to adopt the agenda.
Eckes, I motion.
Adopt the agenda as stated.
Okay, so I heard Eckes first, and would that be a second from Trustee Turner?
I second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? We'll call for the vote.
Trustee La French.
La French, yes.
Trustee Eckes.
Aye.
Trustee Turner.
Trustee Turner, aye.
Trustee Benz.
Benz, aye.
Trustee Hines.
Aye. Hines, aye. Motion carries 5-0. Item 3, public testimony period. And you said that we do have someone waiting. I'll turn it over to our superintendent.
Yes, Chris, did you say we have a public comment from?
Yes, we have one public comment, and that would be for ADTA representative, and that was Angela Ordinola.
Ms. Ordinola, go ahead and start your comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are ready when you are, Angela.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'll make this short and sweet and direct this evening. I want to say on behalf of the association that we find it deplorable that 1 week from the teachers returning to service that we still do not have an MOU in place. We have spent, the association, countless hours researching and keeping abreast of the frequently changing guidelines in the CDC. What has been the major holdup? The single primary barrier has been the district's refusal to commit to adhering to the CDC guidelines. These safety guidelines are imperative for the safe return of teachers. In these uncertain times with the conflicting information, we as the elected representatives for the teachers of this district will not shirk our responsibility to serve and protect our members. It is unconscionable to ask teachers to return to service without these guidelines being met. We see that on tonight's agenda, we have 500 student and 30 teacher ACELIS licenses being proposed, and yet there are no staffing for these positions that we're aware of. The time for displacing teachers to reassign to these positions has long passed, and there's been no mention to the association during negotiations to make any adjustments to those timelines. We're looking at $53,000 for the ACELIS, and last board meeting, we approved a PR position for over $100,000, and yet with benefits, and yet We cannot get a commitment from the district, and as always, citing that it's too expensive to meet these safety guidelines. We want you to know that the association will not sacrifice the safety of our members for the convenience of the district. We are scheduled to meet again tomorrow, and we are asking, and I am begging, that you trustees will direct your superintendent to direct his negotiation team to make the necessary adjustments, that we might have an MOU to present to our teachers, that they might know the working conditions that they will be working under and have some peace of mind. I thank you for your time, and I ask for you to please consider these requests, because school cannot open again without an MOU. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 4, our consent agenda. 4.01, to approve the Celis Systems as an online curriculum for the Adelanto Virtual Academy for the 2020-2021 school year. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve this item.
We have a motion from Trustee Benz. Is it?
Let's open it up for discussion.
Only
So
if
this motion is to approve the consent agenda, or is it if we want to pull something from the consent agenda?
it's to approve the consent agenda. Can open for discussion. And we also have 4.01 and 4.02 academic services, approve the consultation services with San Bernardino County. At this time, we have a motion by Trustee Benz, and I will second the motion. It's a second by Trustee Hines, and we can now open it up for discussion. Are there trustees, do you have questions?
And Dr. Mitchell, I apologize. I didn't get anything on. I didn't get a handout on this Celis learning system online curriculum for review. Can you talk about that? Or
Happy to. So
Okay.
this item is put in place just in case we have kids who are, for some reason, unable to participate in distance learning. We don't plan on using this many licenses. They're just there in case we need to use them. We anticipate in the best of circumstances that there may be students that are unable to participate in our distance learning program for a variety of reasons. Or just for a variety of reasons. So this is in place just to, in case this happens, and this is paid for out of, the state gave us a learning loss mitigation fund as a result of COVID. And so these dollars will be paid from that fund. And we don't anticipate 500 students having to use this. And so just have it here just in case.
So Dr. Mitchell, what you're saying is that this will not, there's a fund allocated for this and it will not come out of the general fund?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Mitchell, I have a question. So you don't think we'll use that much? So if we don't use that much, are we still paying for those many? And if we don't pay, do we get like a refund and just pay for what we use, or is it?
That's my understanding. Dr. Williams, do you have any other clarity? Is that an accurate statement?
That is an accurate statement, Dr. Mitchell. We would only pay for the license of a student that's enrolled. We would not purchase the mass licenses. It would just be upon enrollment.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have another question. So will the license come under that mitigation fund that has been approved?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So this is just kind of gives us a not to exceed amount of 500 licenses. We
Okay.
won't use expend the funds if we don't have kids enrolled.
Okay.
We
So
wanted to have this in place before school started. As you know, our next board meeting is August 11th, the day after school.
Okay.
Yes. So any other questions or comments?
No.
Okay. I am looking at the information that was included in my packet. So I want to thank you for that, because there is also a website where additional information can be found that is shown on the quote. And it is, the questions that were asked are, is this information there? So I just want to clarify that this was a quote that was included, and unless local funds are available to cover the amount, then it would not be activated. Correct, Dr. Mitchell?
Correct.
And as well as item 4.02, with the academic services to approve the consultation services with the San Bernardino County. There's also information provided there on what the professional development would include, and the foundations of universal design for learning.
Okay. President Hines, did you want to vote on this one before we get into that one? Or are you lumping them all together?
I was lumping them together.
You may get a different vote.
Oh, I would separate them.
Okay. So.
Yeah. And by the way, this is Ms. Eckes. I did get the information in my board packet, and I was able to read it and understand it. So thank you for that, because I would be lost if I didn't have that information. So thank you.
Great. That's great feedback, Ms. Eckes. Thank you.
I did. I got 3 things in my packet. I got the presentation, I got the calendar upcoming meeting, and I got the copy of the agenda. I didn't get that. I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll make sure that we get all the materials to you guys. We apologize.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Eckes, again, just for clarification, I always get my board agendas in hard copy, so that may be why. I don't want anybody to think that there was a misunderstanding or anybody was left out. It's just that I personally always ask for hard copy agendas.
Yeah, so I think the expectation is that the others go on to board docs to see each of them.
Yes.
But we'd be happy to provide either way, whatever works best for the board members. Just let us know.
Yes, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. So right now then we will call for the vote on 4.01 to approve the SELUS learning systems as the
Sorry, go ahead.
I motion that we approve the SELUS online learning group.
We already had a motion and a second.
I have a motion by Trustee Benz, a second by Trustee Hines. Madam President, would you like me to take the vote?
Yes, please.
Trustee La French?
Aye.
Trustee Eckes?
Aye.
Trustee Turner?
Trustee Turner, aye.
Trustee Benz?
Benz, aye.
Trustee Hines?
Hines, aye. Motion carries 5-0. And move forward to 4.02, academic services, approved consultation services with the County of San Bernardino. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve. Okay.
I'm sorry. Was that
That was
trustee?
Love French
Okay. And a second?
by me,
I
Benz.
motion Holly Eckes.
Okay, we had trustee Benz. So I have a motion by trustee Love French and a second by trustee Benz. And is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote.
Trustee La French?
Love French, aye.
Trustee Eckes?
Aye.
Trustee Turner?
Trustee Turner, aye.
Trustee Benz?
Benz, aye.
Trustee Hines?
Hines, aye. Motion carries 5-0. Item 5, items removed from the consent agenda. There were none. 5.01. Moving into item 6, presentation 6.01 distance learning model. And I'll turn that over to our superintendent.
Thank you, Trustee Hines. I'm going to share my screen to share a presentation, and myself and the team will walk us through our plans for reopening. We've been working very hard. All of us, our full staff have been working very hard to prepare ourselves for opening. And so here, just want to update you on what we have so far. Let me see. So as you recall, at the last board meeting, the board approved us to start school in 100% distance learning model. We went hard to work at that point with our unions working on MOUs, and so we appreciate both of our unions for sitting down at the table with us, and we're confident that we're going to be able to close these discussions this week. And so we wanted to share you what our preparations are so far. As you recall, we developed some core values for school reopening. And so number one is to adhere to COVID safety guidelines to protect the health, safety, and wellness of students and staff. We want to identify and develop supports to meet the social and emotional needs of students and staff. We recognize that kids have been off a long time and may have some emotional needs as a result of that as well. So we're preparing for that. Number three, we want to provide school leaders, teachers, and support staff with training, resources, and supports to successfully implement a high-quality instructional program. We want to provide differentiated instructional supports to meet the needs of all students, including our special needs students, as well as our foster and homeless students. And then number five, we want to provide timely, transparent, and informative communication to staff, parents, and community members related to COVID-19 school reopening. And so as such, we created we created the Reopening Schools Advisory Committee. And this committee is comprised of staff and parents. And we've also gotten feedback from our students as well. And we've asked for broad participation. A lot of these committees have had 100+ folks participating, very high quality, giving an opportunity for diverse staff and students and parents to come together to create systems and discussions to help us reopen safely, to develop a high quality distance learning program. And we have 3 subcommittees. And so one is the instruction committee, and they are responsible for developing the guidance for curriculum instruction and assessment, teacher and parent trainings, and student supports for the distance learning and hybrid models. We put hybrid models in there because, as you know, 2 weeks ago, it was iffy how we'd come back. Number 2, logistics, important subcommittee. They're responsible for developing guidance to implement COVID-19 guidelines, personal protective equipment, social distancing, sanitizing, as well as logistics for student transportation and nutrition. And so they've worked hard to produce guidance for that. And then lastly, communications. This subcommittee is responsible for developing processes to provide timely, transparent, and informative communication to staff, parents, community members regarding COVID-19 and school reopening. These committees will continue to work as the issues will continue to develop. And so their first priority was to produce guidance to get us ready for the first day of school. As you know, these are all very contingent on the MOUs that we developed with our teachers union as well as our CSEA union. And so we are confident that the discussions at the table are going well, and we hope to close those conversations this week, which will provide the needed guidance for our school leaders and teachers on what the school day looks like and what the expectations for staff will be, as well as the safety guidelines and precautions that we'll be following as a district. And so we'll get into some of the particulars, and we'll turn it over to Ms. Credile to walk us through the logistical plan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Metro. First, we're going to start with our nutrition services. Child nutrition services will continue to provide both breakfast, lunch, and possibly supper for our students. We will continue with the grab-and-go meals. Those will be the meals that are provided. Distribution of these meals will start on Monday, August 10th, and will continue on every Monday following that. The distribution will be at 10 of our sites, excluding Gus Franklin, West Creek, Columbia, and Mesa Linda. And that's as a result of there being schools that are right adjacent to those schools. And CNS is now working with transportation to utilize our buses and our bus drivers to deliver meals to more of the remote areas at the north end of Adelanto. So we're still waiting for those locations as well. Next slide, please. So for training and awareness, we have purchased and have signs that are going up if they haven't been put up already. So we have signage that will be posted in entrances, hallways, and classrooms that will communicate how to mitigate and stop the spread of COVID-19. Staff and students will receive training and support on the following: good hygiene practices, which includes hand washing, using sanitizer and those types of things, proper use of PPE equipment when appropriate, social distancing procedures, and mental wellness to support with stress and anxiety, because as we know, as a result of COVID-19, we have a lot of people that are dealing with some emotional distress from being in isolation or just being away from family and friends. Next slide, please. Personal protective equipment. I'm really proud of our staff, Lori McMillan and a lot of the guys in the warehouse. We jumped on this early and we have a lot of equipment that has come in. So for all staff and students, they will be provided with the appropriate PPE. Face coverings are required by staff, students grades 3 through 8, and visitors at all times while in our offices or on our campuses will be required to wear face coverings. Our school sites will receive a startup shipment of PPE, including sneeze guards for the main offices, gloves, student cloth face mask, adult cloth face mask, disposable face mask, face shields, hand sanitizer, disinfecting wipes, protective gowns for those people that have to do any type of screening, touchless thermometers with replacement batteries, and Kleenex. And I just had an update today, and all of this equipment, the initial equipment, will be going out starting tomorrow, and they should be at the sites by Thursday. Next slide, please. Temperature taking and health screening. The temperature will be taken of entering employees and visitors with a no-contact infrared thermometer. Health questionnaires will be available to employees and visitors prior to or upon entering the building. Protocols will be followed for anyone that exceeds a temperature of 99.9 degrees or responds yes to any of the questions on the COVID-19 symptom monitoring questionnaire. And just for one little update on this, today we have some information and we're hoping we'll be able to work through our Raptor system for screening, which will make it a lot easier for our sites. So we're still looking at that, and hopefully I'll have an update for you for next time. Next slide, please. Technology.
So Dr. Williams, are you taking these slides?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. For our devices and our hotspots, all students will receive a Chromebook device. Foster youth, low income, and homeless students will be given first priority to receive a hotspot. Next slide, please. In order to make sure that we're supporting with repairs and support to our devices, we have set up a help desk to make sure that staff will be able to submit work orders or requests for support at that particular website that's there. http://help.aesd.net. The district will provide technical support via telephone available Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And they will call 760-530-7693 or dial extension 10222 from a district phone. The district's technology department will provide technology support videos for both staff and students on our website. Frequently asked questions and technology resources will be on the district's website under FAQ, covering frequently seen issues and device information and training. Next slide, please. All students will receive board-adopted textbooks and consumables for their grade level. Digital curriculum materials will be assigned to teachers and students for English language arts, English language development, and mathematics. All students in grade TK to 5 will be issued instructional supplies such as crayons, pencil box, writing tablet, etc. Next slide, please. So these are issues related to curriculum, instruction, and assessment. We have our students picking up their materials at the middle school level starting this coming Friday, with 6th grade orientation will be on July 31st. Last name A to H will be picking up at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I to O will be picking up between 10 and 11 a.m. P to Z will be picking up 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. For 7th grade orientation, that will take place on August 3rd. Last name A to H will pick up between 9 and 10 a.m. I to O at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. P to Z at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. 8th grade orientation will be on August 4th. Last name A to H, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I to O between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. P to Z at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Our elementary school pickup will be for grades 4 and 5 beginning July 31st. And the alphabet will remain the same on each day, which is A to L, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. M to Z will be 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. And then grade 2 and 3 will pick up on August 3rd, and TK and 1st grade will pick up on August 4th with the same alphabets as aforementioned. Next slide, please. So for our scope and sequence, we have been working with our instructional committees to get information and feedback. And at this time, Academic Services has developed a curriculum pacing guide through the first quarter of school for English and math aligned to SBAC claims and targets, standards, and the district formative assessments. Academic Services has revised our current pacing guides to align with our digital curriculum resources. Next slide, please. Delivery of instruction. In accordance with Senate Bill 98, distance learning, teachers will provide daily live instruction with students to ensure that the minimum instructional minutes are met. This interaction will include a combination of synchronous and asynchronous learning. Teachers will deliver high-quality instruction at a level of quality and intellectual challenge substantially equivalent to in-person instruction. To talk about our multi-tiered of support is how we're going to be supporting our subgroups, foster youth, English learners, our SPED students, and homeless students. We have many programs in the district, and those programs are designed to meet the needs of our individual subgroups. So looking at Lexia, that has been purchased for grades K through 5, and that is providing additional support for our foster youth, English learners, SPED, and homeless students. Elevation is purchased to support our students who are English learners. N2Y is a curriculum to support our students who are mod to severe. IXL has been purchased to support all of the subgroups mentioned here in their area of need. Reading Wonders has supplemental for ELD as well as SPED. That particular curriculum will be used to support those two subgroups. In our board adopted Go Math, there is a personal math trainer, which will be used to support all of the different subgroups based on their need. Into English 3D is for grades 6 through 8 for our English learners. We've also implemented Renaissance Learning, Accelerated Reader, and that is going to be used as a supplemental program to support all of the subgroups mentioned here. Next slide, please. Special education accommodations. Our psychologists will coordinate with parents to update behavior support plans for students. Speech language services will be provided virtually. Occupational therapists will coordinate with parents to offer services to students. Students will be provided with all of the instructional materials and assistive technology for services. Adaptive physical education will collaborate with regular education teacher in order to provide virtual services for students. Accommodations for our English learners. English learners will be provided with all of the necessary academic materials, including textbooks and digital curriculum resources with embedded English language development materials. English learners will have access to all supplemental resources purchased district-wide, and you saw that under our MTSS slide. English learner students can independently access these sites for academic enrichment through Clever. Teacher parent training and support. Parent and teacher trainings will begin the week of July 27th through August 5th. Those trainings started this week. The focus for the parent trainings is to familiarize parents with the online student environment and provide strategies for parents to support their students at home. The focus for the teacher trainings is to build the capacity of teachers to provide a high quality distance learning program.
Great, thank you, Dr. Williams. And I'll close with some next steps. We will continue working hard with both of our unions to complete the MOUs to support distance learning. We will go ahead.
Dr. Mitchell, can I just add a couple of things right there?
Please, please.
Okay, so we are finished with CSEA. We've completed our MOU with them, and it's just going through the 610 process. So I'm glad to say that we've done that. And just as a note, the ADTA and the district have an agreement just for as far as how teachers can teach. So they have the option of teaching from their site and from their classroom and from home. So that's the part that we have so far agreed upon, and we'll continue with that tomorrow morning.
Thank you for that update, Ms. Cordell.
Thank you.
And so in terms of next steps, board, we will continue our reopening schools advisory committees. Those committees have gone wonderfully and produced a huge amount of work in a short amount of time. And so we will continue those after school starts. We will continue to supplement, as you heard Ms. Cordell say, I want to commend our staff for starting early. We're able to distribute a load of PPE equipment and social distancing signage and screens, protective equipment, and we will continue to supplement those to ensure that our staff and students are safe that are on campus. Number 4, we'll continue professional development for teachers and trainings for parents to support the implementation of a high quality distance learning program. And number 5, my commitment is to continue to monitor the information from the state of California, California Department of Education, Department of Public Health, and the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools to assess our ability to bring students and staff together on campus safely. And so, as you know, I'm a part of a variety of meetings that happen every week, webinars and update sessions across all of these organizations. And we'll continue to monitor the COVID pandemic as it relates to schools, and we'll bring recommendations to the board as emergent information comes out around the possibility of bringing staff and students on campus like normally. But right now it's looking pretty far off, and so I'm so happy that our staff has worked so hard to prepare us to start school in distance learning. And so we'll start there, and we'll continue to monitor that and see how soon we may be able to to get back to school in terms of regular business. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
I do have a question, Dr. Mitchell. This is Trustee Turner.
Hi.
I'm looking at nutrition services. Distribution of meals will start on Monday, August 10th, and will continue every Monday. So we're saying that parents will be given the meals on Monday to carry them out through the week, or will we have a daily grab and go?
Ms. Cordell, why don't you answer that? Thank you.
Yes, Trustee Turner, thank you. They will be given food to last for the entire week. And right now it's breakfast and lunch. And Julie Calderon is also looking in to see if we can get a waiver for our supper program, but we don't have information on that yet.
Okay. My next question is on the PPE. And listening to you, Dr. Mitchell, you pretty much clarified that. You know, reading that, I was under the impression that it was ready for kids to go back. And I know we voted for distant learning probably until the beginning of the year. But what this is doing is basically getting us prepared in the event that someone come on our campus. There'll be, and this is for teachers as well, if they decide that they want to teach from their classroom. Is that?
Yes, as well as our classified staff that will be manning the phones. Ms. Cordell, why don't you share what staff will be on campus?
For any staff that's on campus, so many of our classified, will be repurposed to do other things. So some of our workers don't have any work to do because the kids aren't there, but they'll be helping out in other areas. But we have packages for everybody on our staff. We'll have a startup package, and then it'll be supplemented as they need it.
Okay, I got that. And so I was looking at the pickup start times. I know that it's a little close, you know, from 10, end at 10 and start again at 10. So are you anticipating a large amount of children at that time? Because they'll be crossing over instead of a gag time to complete one group to go into the next group. I was a little concerned about that. So could you talk about that transition?
Dr. Williams, that's certainly a good consideration. Dr. Williams, I know you've been working with the principals on that. Could you share?
That's correct, Dr. Mitchell. I met with all of the principals, and they felt that the way they have it with the first and last name will give them enough time to serve those students within that time. It's also at many different schools, there's going to be a drive up. So we are, definitely making sure that we're going to be adhering to the 6 feet distancing to ensure that we're not in violation of that. So at this time, the principals feel comfortable with the distribution of the alphabet, and we're going to be flexible, and we're going to follow safety guidelines to ensure that we are adhering to that 6 feet distancing.
Okay, so you mentioned, I have one more question on that. So you mentioned that it would be drive up, but in addition to drive up, they will be allowed to come on campuses. Where would the distribution be done? At what room?
They will be picking up their textbooks and their Chromebook device from the library. So they will have a setup with their staff. We'll also have additional classified supporting us in the effort around the distribution to adhere to the 6 feet distancing, and only having so many coming in at one particular time. So we wouldn't be allowing them to just all crowd in and wait, but we would be monitoring the lines to ensure anyone that's going into the library that they are adhering to those guidelines.
Okay. I know we briefly talked about instructional minutes last week. So more information will be shared at the regular board meeting, Dr. Mitchell, on what a typical day will look like?
Absolutely. And the reason we can't share that tonight is we're still working out the particulars of the MOU with ADTA. But we fully expect to close this conversation in a good place with our team members and be able to share more specifically what that day will look like with the board and parents as well. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Any other? Happy to
Yes,
address.
this is
Go ahead.
Ms. Beckes. I have a few questions. Okay, my first question was on the temperature taking. These devices that we're using to take people's temperature, will it be touching their forehead or will it be from a distance?
There are no touch
Griddle.
thermometers. I'm sorry. Yes.
Ms. Griddle, go ahead.
Yes, Trustee Eckes, there are no touch infrared thermometers.
Okay, so they do not touch the skin at all.
Correct.
Okay, and then my next question is, I heard someone mention that there's going to be a questionnaire for people. Is that for everyone, or if you have a high temperature, what is the questionnaire all about, and what kind of questions will they be asking?
Well, part of screening is just not about taking temperatures. It's about asking questions. For instance, do you have any of these, the symptoms that are listed on the COVID-19 watch list? So have you had, a cough? Have you had nausea? Have you had vomiting? There's a lot of questions in addition to just the temperature that you ask people, because just the temperature alone is not a single thing for symptoms of COVID.
Okay, and these questions are asked to people who do have a temperature or everyone?
Everyone.
Everyone, okay, and they're not invasive or too personal questions, are they?
No.
Okay, all right. The other question I had is, and excuse me if I misunderstood you, a few minutes ago, did you say that we do have an MOU with the teachers, or no, not yet?
Not with the teachers, we have one with CSEA.
Okay, but we're getting close, hopefully, with the teachers union?
Yes, hopefully.
Okay, and that's going to be done this week?
We have negotiations in the morning again with ADTA.
Okay, all right, thank you. And I just wanted to thank all of you for this great presentation and all your hard work. I know it's not easy, and you guys are doing a really great job, so I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Eckes. Trustee Love Fritz, did you have questions?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Keenan. I wanted to know, it's not necessary for the children to be present to pick up those, their textbooks?
Dr. Williams? You're asking if parents could pick them up in their stead?
That would lessen the amount of people.
I would imagine that we wouldn't turn a parent away that were picking up materials for their student, Trustee Leffridge, but we will make sure that we communicate that to our principals. We don't want to turn parents away, and that won't happen. So we'll make sure that we communicate that with our principals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions or comments?
Well, board, thank you so much for allowing us to present. We'll keep you updated. It's a kind of a moving target. The information is coming out every day, and our team is taking in the information and communicating that to our subcommittees and making decisions accordingly. So we thank you for being patient. We all are in a very strange place with this in terms of the information that's touchy every day. And so we just wake up every day knowing that there'll probably be a change to some decisions that we made yesterday. So we're just gonna have our skates on and be ready to change direction at any given time. But I'm so confident in our staff to be able to make these changes on the drop of a dime, and knowing that our core value is to keep our staff and students safe. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
And really appreciate the updates and just keeping the board informed and abreast of all the things. I know it's not easy because it is, so we appreciate that. With that, if we have no other questions or comments.
I do. I have one, President Hines. Dr. Mitchell, you and I talked about the food distribution, and I thought you mentioned that you were going to briefly comment on it tonight. Did you get any information on that to comment?
Yes. So I shared. So just to brief the board, Ms. Turner asked if parents would be picking up food in the morning And if that's the case, maybe we consider pushing that to the afternoon so that parents and students would not choose instruction over food. And so I asked Ms. Cordell to look into that. Why don't you share what our plans are so far, Ms. Cordell?
Okay, so I did speak with you, Ms. Calderon in Child Nutrition. She's looking at all the schedules to see if we can make an adjustment for each site, because we'd have to look at each site according to their bell schedule so that it doesn't interrupt the instructional day. And we're working through that right now to try to get that done.
Oh, okay.
So, but we will, the decision has been made to make sure that we can get kids their food in an ideal time so they're not choosing between food and instruction. So thanks for bringing that to our attention. And that's why it's so important to have diverse folks chiming in on this, because there's so many parts and so many moving parts. And so one person or one department just can't possibly see everything. So thanks so much for bringing that to our attention.
Oh, you're welcome, Dr. Mitchell. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one more thing I'd like to say since Ms. Turner brought up food. I do believe the city of Adelanto, they've been having radio briefs on the radio talking about they're having a big distribution of dairy products from the farmers. And I do believe it's this Saturday. If I'm mistaken, people could probably contact the city or look at their website, but they're going to be giving away a whole bunch of milk, dairy products, yogurt, I believe, just different dairy products, and they have a lot of it. And I do believe they're going to be, and they're giving it away to everybody in the high desert. And I understand they're going to be doing this quite often. So if anybody needs dairy products, milk, anything that's dairy, I do believe it's this Saturday. If I'm wrong, please call the city. I wish I had more information, but I've been hearing the news broadcast, and this is a really big thing that they're putting on, and it's going to be at the old Maverick Stadium. I forget what they call it now, but it's going to be a huge distribution of dairy products. So if anybody listening needs any or knows anybody who does, you may want to contact the city. And again, I do believe it's this Saturday. So I just wanted to put that out there because it would be a shame if people needed that and they didn't know about it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Trustee Eckes.
Thank you. So with that, if there are no further questions or comments, we're going to move to item 11, adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Eckes, I motion.
Is there a second?
Trustee
Benz, I second.
Go ahead and give it to Trustee Benz.
Okay, I heard Trustee Benz.
Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Okay, we'll call for the vote.
Trustee LaFrench,
French, aye.
Trustee Eckes,
Aye.
Trustee Turner,
Trustee Turner, aye.
Trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
and Trustee Hines.
Hines, aye. Motion carries 5-0. Meeting is adjourned. The time is 6:19 p.m.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Be safe.